Prometheus, the Titan who defied Olympus out of compassion. When Zeus ordered mankind to live in darkness, he stole the sacred fire and gave it to humanity. An act of light and rebellion. The gods called it a crime, but men called it the beginning. As punishment, Zeus chained him to a rock in the Caucasus. Each day, an eagle descended to devour his liver, and each night it grew back. Eternity made flesh, pain renewed forever. Prometheus never cried out. He looked toward the horizon, knowing pain was the price of gift. Human fire burned because his body did. His punishment became a symbol. Creation always costs more than its reward. Prometheus was never defeated. He was transformed. And in the flame he stole, the punishment of the gods still burns. Sisyphus, the man who deceived death itself. King of Ephyra, cunning and arrogant, he once trapped Thanatos, the god of death, in iron chains. For a time, no one could die. Warriors filled the earth, life itself stalled, until Zeus intervened. For challenging divine order, Sisyphus was condemned to the most useless task in existence, to push a boulder uphill only to watch it roll back down forever. A perfect circle of effort and futility. His pain wasn't the labor, it was the meaninglessness. Each step echoes the irony of the gods, giving the human mind the idea of eternity, then imprisoning it there. Sisyphus suffers not for the stone's weight, but for understanding its futility. Curious, isn't it? Sometimes the punishment isn't the weight of the stone, but knowing it will never reach the top. Tantalus, the king who dined with the gods and paid for his arrogance. Son of Zeus, he was welcomed to Olympus as an equal, but mistook privilege for immunity. He stole nectar and ambrosia, divine food, and gave them to mortals. Then, to test the gods, he served them his son Pelops, cooked and disguised as a meal. Horrified, Zeus cast him into Tartarus. There, Tantalus stood in a crystal lake with fruit hanging above. When he bent to drink, the water vanished. When he reached up, the wind lifted the branches away. Thirst and hunger eternal, the human appetite punished by its own pride. His torment was not of body, but of mind, the eternal promise of fulfillment just out of reach. The gods punished in him what they despised most, mankind's hunger for what is divine. Ixion, the first man to commit an unthinkable crime. He killed his father-in-law, betraying sacred hospitality, and was still forgiven by Zeus. Invited to Olympus, he might have redeemed himself, but pride rose higher than fear. Obsessed with Hera, Zeus's wife, Ixion tried to seduce her. Foreseeing the betrayal, Zeus formed a cloud shaped like the goddess. From that illusion came a monstrous child, the first Centaur, born of lust and punishment. Ixion's sentence, to be bound to a burning wheel spinning endlessly across the sky. The wheel is desire itself, flame that consumes but never ends. Ixion's sin was not love, but presumption, wanting what could only be worshipped. He was never forgotten because the gods never forget the mirror's sin, the man who tried to love like a god and burned in his reflection. Atlas, the Titan who bore the sky. When the Olympians defeated the Titans, Zeus chose a punishment without end. Atlas would hold the heavens upon his shoulders, forever separating sky from earth. The giant who once carried war, now carried the world he lost. For countless ages, Atlas stood motionless while the stars moved above him. His strength became a prison, his eternity a sentence. When Heracles met him, he tried to trick the hero into taking the weight. But Atlas knew, the world's burden is never temporary. The punishment of the gods was never just pain, it was awareness. Atlas wasn't punished for fighting, but for resisting too long. His strength became the memory of defiance turned to duty. Some burdens don't fall, because no one dares to let them. Arachne, the mortal who believed she could weave better than the goddess of wisdom herself. Her threads were so fine they seemed spun from air, and her tapestries told truths the gods preferred hidden. When Athena challenged her to a contest, Arachne accepted, and won. Her work showed not divine glory, but divine hypocrisy. Every thread, a mirror. Athena couldn't bear it. She tore the tapestry, destroyed the loom, and cursed her rival, transforming her into the first spider doomed to weave forever. Her art became her cage. Arachne's punishment is the punishment of art itself, to create something so perfect that the divine takes offense. Ah, the irony of the gods. They gift us talent, then punish us for using it too well. Niobe, the queen who believed herself greater than a goddess. Daughter of Tantalus, she inherited his pride. Blessed with 14 children, 7 sons and 7 daughters, she mocked Leto, mother of only 2, Apollo and Artemis. Before her people, Niobe laughed, declaring herself more worthy of worship. The response was silence and arrows. Apollo slew her sons, Artemis, her daughters. Niobe tried to shield them, but one by one they fell. When the last body dropped, she turned to stone, yet her tears still flowed, forming a spring in the Phrygian mountains. Niobe's punishment was divine poetry. Pride turned to petrification, motherhood to mourning. The gods turned her arrogance into eternal grief. Vanity seeks eternity, and sometimes finds it, but only in sorrow. Actaeon, the hunter who saw what no mortal should. Born noble and skilled in the chase, he wandered the forests of Boeotia when fate, or accident, led him to Artemis, bathing in secret. The virgin goddess of the moon did not forgive what she deemed profane. In a flash of wrath, she transformed him into a stag. His voice vanished, his humanity dissolved. He tried to call to his hounds, but only a cry escaped. The dogs, loyal and blind, tore him apart, obeying the hunter's last command. Actaeon's punishment wasn't death, but inversion, to become what he once pursued. The gods did not punish crime. They punished proximity, the sin of seeing what should remain sacred. In the woods, the wind still carries the echo of a hunt that turned on itself. Cassandra, the voice cursed for telling the truth, daughter of Priam and priestess of Apollo, she received from the god the gift of prophecy. But when she rejected his love, he left her gift intact and cursed it. No one would ever believe her words. She foresaw the fall of Troy, the wooden horse, the death of Agamemnon, even her own. She screamed, begged, warned, and every word was dismissed as madness. Her punishment was knowledge without power. Vision turned to torment. The gods' cruelty was elegant, letting someone see disaster, but forbidding them to stop it. Ah, destiny is a cruel scientist. It shows us the result, but never lets us change the formula. Pandora, the first woman shaped by the gods. Forged by Hephaestus at Zeus's command, she was a gift wrapped in punishment. Each god gave her something: beauty, charm, grace, and curiosity. That last one sealed mankind's fate. She came to earth carrying a sealed jar, told never to open it, but divine impulse whispered louder than caution. When she lifted the lid, every evil escaped. Pain, hunger, fear, death. In panic, she closed it again, trapping only one thing inside: hope. The gods didn't punish Pandora out of anger, but design. They made her curious, and condemned her for being so. Pandora's jar didn't just hold curses, it held the truth that light and shadow are born from the same disobedience. Orestes, the son who killed his mother. When Clytemnestra murdered Agamemnon for sacrificing their daughter, the gods demanded balance. Orestes obeyed and avenged his father, but in doing so broke another law: blood of the mother. The Erinyes, the ancient spirits of vengeance, rose against him. Eyes bleeding, serpents for hair, their screams pierced sanity. They haunted him without rest, feeding on guilt. Orestes fled across Greece until he was judged in Athens, the first mortal tried by men, not gods. And for the first time, absolution replaced punishment. The Erinyes were transformed into the Eumenides, spirits of mercy. Forgiveness entered where divine wrath once ruled. Orestes marked a new age, when conscience became the true executioner. Mankind, the only being who learned from divine punishment, and repeats it. Every myth is a mirror. Prometheus in the scientist, Sisyphus in the worker, Pandora in the curious, Niobe in the proud. The gods are gone, but their lessons live within us. The fire Prometheus stole still burns. Now, as thought, invention, defiance. There are no more thunderbolts from Olympus, no eternal rocks rolling uphill. Yet the same invisible weight remains. The quest, the error, the longing to surpass the limit. Mythology simply changed its stage, from the heavens to the mirror. Punishment evolved. It no longer comes from above. It comes from within. Each time humanity reaches too far, it repeats the sacred ritual of fire and fall. The gods have died, but they left us their truest legacy: the need to be punished for dreaming too much. See in the next video, Typhon, the Earth's final roar against the gods. Gigantic, with wings that hid the sun and 100 serpents for arms, he wasn't born to exist. He was born to defy. His eyes burned fire. His breath swept continents. He was the planet's anger given flesh.